We are joined here in this group to talk about pastoralism and regarding the program. I think that we could expect some very fruitful and interesting presentations. I think that the best would be to start with the first one, Dr. Hasrat Arjjumend. He's going to talk about the dying institution of pastoralism. Can rangeland laws protect pastoral livelihoods? Dr. Hasrat Arjjumend is coming from the Grassroots Institute, Canada. I think we all know him for this perfectly organized conference meeting, school, whatever. So please, Dr. Hasrat Arjjumend.
Yes, hello everyone. Is my video seen? No.
No.
You please switch off your video. Okay.
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, I think
Is everything okay?
Yeah, I think I'm here. So, so dear participants, the chair, Madam Chair, will join. She is Professor Madhu Verma. She was my teacher long ago in 97, 98. And currently she is serving with the United States very renowned institution, that is World Resources Institute. So she is the chief economist, and the moment she will join, then we will benefit from her. Okay, this is my turn now. The co-chair has given me signal. So let me, 1 minute. Yeah. Where is it? Oh. Is it visible?
Yes, okay. It is. It is visible.
Okay, fine.
But this is a program. This is today's program. Is this what you wanted to show?
Oh, please wait a minute. Yeah, it is something else is coming here on the screen. Is this visible now?
Not yet.
No,
okay. Not yet.
Okay, wait a minute. Then I close everything. I close. I think it is done now.
Yeah, now it's okay.
Well, I'm sorry that a few minutes lost because of this. Yes, okay. So I represent the Grassroots Institute. I'm also associated with the very renowned institution called Center for International Sustainable Development Law, and the CISDL I'm associated with since 2017, and in 2019 the CISDL has given an award to me for 2019 as the specialist. So my lecture would be Dying Institution of Pastoralism. Today's theme is on the pastoralism and the livestock transhumance. So very high, very renowned people had already spoken in the previous session, and they are also present in this session, particularly Professor Marius, will follow, and Dr. Ilse is also around us, and probably next session she will be with us again. So these very renowned experts on this field are here, and I'm afraid that I will really speak something meaningful in front of them. Yes, based on my a little experience on this particular field and my really love and passion to work on this particular field. Another fact is that I have chosen this topic for my lecture because I also come from the farmer family, farmer community. So my childhood up to the standard of 12, I used to be a milkman myself. So I used to be collecting the milk from the cattle, from buffaloes. I did it myself for like up to like from the year say for example from the childhood to till my graduation, I should say for 15 years. I had seen this profession of the livestock keeping, feeding the livestock, and maintaining the bullocks, cows, etc. Although I have very insidious affection with this profession and the people, particularly the indigenous groups. So coming to the institutions, how the institutions are dying of these pastoralists, and can the rangeland laws protect the pastoralist livelihoods? So I would present a case study in the end, how the existing laws in the countries wherever they are existing could be used to give some kind of the relief, some kind of the development to these dying institution, or I should say that these threatened communities. I will not repeat so many things in this slides presentation because a lot has been spoken already and will be spoken in the subsequent session and lectures. So I will skip here these things. A lot of statistics is there, how many pastoralist communities do exist in what regions of the world. So they are particularly existing even today in Asia, Africa, Nordic region, Andean mountains, Eastern Europe. Africa and Asia is well known for these communities, and Europe as well. But Europe's communities have threatened a lot. And so coming to the proceeding next is that this map is there of India. So anyway, I skipped all these things. You can see the photographs. Some data and all these things are here. So these slides will be available on the website, so you can also see. And many other speakers have already told a lot of statistics about these peoples. Finally, I should say that the pastoralist communities, especially the nomadic pastoralists, I believe that they are the most sustainable lifestyles in this world, even today. And if we see pragmatically that even the two prominent prophets of the modern religions in the world, Jesus Christ and Prophet Muhammad, they were the pastoralists. So this occupation is supposed to be the noble occupation by the communities, and because they follow their prophets, the people follow their prophets, and then they consider their lifestyles as the pristine lifestyles. So although in the modern context, modern societies, they are highly endangered. So biologically also we can see scientifically that these lifestyles are really resilient and sustainable. The word we are using currently, sustainable for the development. But if anything exists in this world in the form of the sustainable entity, It is the nomadic pastoralists, particularly nomadic. I'm using the word. They are sustainable. Okay, now I'm just again skipping so many things and coming back to the topic, dying institutions of pastoralism. I will mainly talk about what are the challenges, what are the issues threatening these institutions. Couple of our previous speakers had elaborated the institutions, what kind of the institutions these people have, these communities do have. And those institutions are really robust institutions, managed and handled by the elders, etc., and other community members. So, but they are under onslaught of the development, the modern cultures, modern societies, and modern apparatus, especially by the state. So, if we see between 2005 and 6, I had some references during that time, which say that these are the state policies that actually subjugated the pastoralists. And because the so-called civilized world and the mainstream societies, because the state also represent the mainstream societies mainly, and that has the very wrong perception about these pastoralist groups. The state considers them as the burden on the resources. There is a very dirty role of the conservationists and deep ecologists who really have dispossessed these communities. The prominent thesis was that the grazing is deleterious or dangerous to the forest ecosystems. So hence the deep ecologists have really harmed and damaged these society systems. And the state made the perception and the opinion about these communities based on the ecologists and scientists' opinions. So this happens. That is the process. So civilized ideologies have encouraged the sedentarization across different states. It started from the Europe, and then the Asia followed, Africa followed, because Asia and Africa were mostly the colonies of the European countries. So whatever the paradigm prevails and emanates from the European parts, so the others follow. The sedentarization has become really a tragedy for these people. Yes. So this has happened across the countries, nations. It happened in India. It happened in Central Asian states, and particularly in Europe. Coming to a very remotely known and remotely discussed factor is the military pacification. When we see the borders where the two countries, armies or militaries, they fight each other. So in those territories, if there are the pastoralist communities existing, they are the first casualties of this kind of the war. And political control also. There are the live examples in the Jammu and Kashmir of India, particularly where the two countries are fighting on the borders. So is a lot many. I mean, the incidences are not reported. Even journalists are not able to report all these incidences. How these communities get harmed and affected by all this. Another is the globalization. Globalization, we all know that how it has changed these situations. So I proceed further is the government's attitude towards the pastoralists. That is very bad, very negative. And the governments are mostly the hostile to these communities and people. Marginalization, social exclusion are very common. even the mainstream societies, particularly, they have a hate against them, and a lot of conflicts as of today, they emerge when the transhumans or the nomadic people, they migrate through a certain route, and the routes are very customary and very, very old routes they have had. And these sedentarized, not said, I mean, the settled communities, farmer communities, when they have occupied all the lands, even the paths or the tracks are not available right now. So whenever these nomads, they cross with their animals through those routes, so usually the farmer people, local farmer people, they object, and then they have the conflicts with these guys, and they also harm a lot to these pastoralist groups and to their animals. Another phenomena is the customary land rights, which are not recognized, and this is true for all indigenous and traditional communities, not particularly to the pastoralist groups. Customary land rights have been ignored and excluded and disenfranchised by the states, most of the states. Wherever I mean, there are not many countries or not many states where the pastoral land laws or policies are existing. In India, there was a policy on the pastoral lands or rangelands, but it is remotely, I mean, that is buried down by the government itself. Nobody talks about it. Even the ministry people do not know if there is any such policy existing, although that may be remotely existing on some website. Okay, so the state apparatus itself violates all these policies and laws, whichever are supporting to the pastoralists. Next, next item is okay. So, running of time, my God. Fragmentation of the habitat, and I will not talk about this. And there is a massive conversion of the rangelands to the industrial and urban uses. There is a very, very infamous phenomena of enclosure of the commons. So this has happened all over the world. And similar, and likewise, the encroachment of the pastoral lands by powerful. We see it with our eyes. We have seen it. There are the mining operations, the government department themselves, the powerful elites, local elites, politicians, they just grab the lands. And land grabbing is a very, very well phenomena across the world, including, I mean, in all developing countries it is. So the pastoral lands are the first casualties of this phenomena. So next is the breakdown of the traditional village institution. This is also a very generic phenomena, and under this, the pastoralist institutions, particularly that were managing the common lands or the pastoral lands, they have really broken down. Another last thing is the atrocities and exploitation of the nomads by the police. This is nomads are particularly targeted by the police. If there is a theft in the area where, and the police, if police finds these nomadic people, crossing through, so they just pick up the boys or the men, and then they torture. Likewise, these are the factors. Have the veterinary diseases also one factor, and this climate variabilities and increasing uncertainties are the another factors. Okay, so this was my intervention on how what are the different factors threatening all these communities. I will just briefly in 5 minutes. What time? Yeah. Can Chair Madam give me 5 minutes? Hello.
Yes, you can.
Give me 5 minutes. Yeah, I will just sum up. And I will explain this case study and how the law can be used. This is my own work. I did it in between 2014 and 2016, over the about 3 years time. Let me tell you, from 2013 till 16, I was with one very big organization in India. It is called Foundation for Ecological Security, and they appointed me as the dean of their training college in Rajasthan. If some people are here, yes, they were yesterday. So Raghu was my one of counterpart in Andhra Pradesh state. He was doing in that state. I was doing in Rajasthan state. So, but I did a very unique experiment, and this experiment was on reclaiming the common lands, pasture lands, in one district of Ajmer. Ajmer was having a very large area, like more than 10,000 hectares. So it was having 1,100 villages. So we targeted the whole district, and this experiment was done. How the using the legal systems, how can we reclaim the lands? So I just elaborate this and explain this case study. So Rajasthan is the one state in India where the largest area exists of the pasture lands. In the arid zones, the livestock, because there is not a lot of plenty of water for irrigation of the crops, so the civilizations evolved livestock centric. Reason being, the livestock is the very primitive and prominent strategy to survive by the people, and using the livestock as their mainstay of life. So because livestock can survive without a lot of water, especially the camels and the animals can survive in the arid zones. And arid zones have some biomass as well to graze, and these animals can be raised, and this economy can survive better. So Rajasthan is having largest area in India of the pasture lands. And very luckily, the Rajasthan has several laws as well in favor of the pasture lands. One is the Rajasthan Tenancy Act, another is the Land Revenue Act, Panchayat Raj Act, Panchayat Raj rules. And there was very nationwide, the Supreme Court order given by the Markandeya Kafju in 2001, which orders rules that in favor of the commons. Commons, the water commons, land commons, or biodiversity commons, forest commons, all commons. So this order was generic, but it was applicable for the grazing lands per se as well. So after that, the Rajasthan government, with the intervention of the Foundation for Ecological Security, released many orders, especially the Rural Development Panchayat Raj Department. So very favorable and enabling orders were released by the government. So this way, this experiment was done when I intervened at this district level, and this intervention was involving 987 villages. 987 villages. It's not a joke. Wherein 1,017 community institutions were revived and reframed, and they were strengthened under a strategy. I will explain in subsequent slide. So as a result, 30,000 hectares of the pasture land was reclaimed, and it was handed over to the communities. And this reclamation means it was mostly grabbed and controlled by the elites, local elites, some political, mostly the powerful people there. So I have had a very strong willpower to liberate these lands from their clutches, and this experiment was done. And one of my colleague team member is holding this meeting, the photograph. So this, if you see, this work was really divided into two separate interconnected interventions. One was the governance of the commons, another eco restoration. Because even if you liberate or you reclaim the land from the powerful people, so what will you do with that? Because that land is mostly unused, or that has been um, exhausted or degraded by the forces before. All biomass has been, and if pastoralist community is going to, animal herding community is going to get this land and going to manage this, so they need naturally the fodder, they need naturally the biomass to graze their animals. So how that can be regenerated. So the eco restoration program was simultaneously implemented. An institutional arrangement was on the bottom of it and in the core of it. So this was an operational model. I'm not going to explain all this, and it's very, very peculiar and very intricate and well thought out strategy to go step by step. And I should tell you that the capacity building in the cascade model was the prime strategy behind this. Because if suppose it, I call it the strategy of teach a man to fish. If we teach a man to fish, I mean, if he learns how to fish, he can earn his livelihood. He can get the fish every day. If we just if we work in a welfare model, so then probably we will not achieve anything. Suppose I liberate by my using my power or my influence, liberate one hectare of the land and hand over to the people. So people will really not be able to sustain, because they have done nothing on it. They didn't do anything by themselves, and they were not empowered enough for managing it. So this way, this experiment was conducted in this framework, believing that if we empower the people, build their capacities, teach them how to revive their institutions. And but very beautifully, there was one thing in India, the panchayat raj or the local governance system is very well known. But I must tell you, the whole power of the village council is concentrated to the headman or headwoman. Sarpanch in some areas it is called, Pradhan it is called, Mukhia is called. So the punches, who are the council members, punches, have literally no power. They vote, and some people you ask, are you punch or you the ward member? They we do not know. So this is the phenomena. So smartly, I did what I did. I started empowering and enabling these ward punches who are existing around the focal point. Focal point is the sarpanch or the headman. So around him or her are these ward members. So if we just empower and push them up, so definitely the power balance will be manipulated. So this way, by using the law, Panchayat Raj law, there are many clauses. So everything was interpreted in the local language and very nicely into a practical one. So there were around 13 or 14 different major steps in this whole model of the work. And this was a model work. The Foundation for Ecological Security has got tremendous funding for it. And their future work are even based on this. So thank you so much. So conclusively, I should say that using the law or using the norms or the rules of some country or some state, if you have the willpower, you can do it. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Dr. Hasrat Arjjumend, for this insightful and fruitful presentation.